Introduction. My description of translate procedure is operational. It begins with choosing a method of approach. Secondly, with we are translating with translate with for level more or less skillfully in mind. First, the SL the level of language where we begin and which we constantly but not constantly go back to. Second, the referential level. The level of object and event, real or imaginary, which we progressively have to visualize and read up, and which is an essential part, first of the comparison, then of the representation process. Third, the cohesive level, which is more general and grammatical, which traces the train of thought, the feeling tone, positive or negative, and the various perceptions of the SL text. For the level of naturalness of common language or to the right or the speaker in a contrary situation. Next, the relation of translate to translation theory. The purpose of this theory of translate is to be of service to the translator. It is designed to be a constant link between translate theory and practice. It derives from translated theory framework which proposes that when the main purpose of the text is to convey information and convince the reader, a method of translation must be natural. If, on the other hand, the text in operation of the peculiar, innovative, or geared and authoritative style of the author, whether it be a premeditated speech or a legal document, the translator own person has to reflect any deviation of from a natural style. The nature of naturalness is discussed in detail in Smith's expression of the theory of translation below. Naturalness is both grammatical and lexical, and is chosen at every level of text, from paragraph to word, from title to punctuation. The level of naturalness spans translation theory to translate theory and translating theory to practice.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Nur Khofifah. I would like to explain about some process of translating. The approach. There are two approaches to translating and many compromises between them. First, you start translating sentence by sentence. First, say the first paragraph or chapters to get the feel and the feeling tone of the text, and then you deliberately sit back, review the position, and read the rest of the search language text. And second, you read the whole text 2 or 3 times and find the intention, register, tune, mark the difficult words and passage, and start translating only when you have taken your bearings. Which of the two methods you choose may depend on your temperament or on whether you trust your intuition. For the first method, or your powers of analysis for the second. And next, the textual level. Working on the text level, you intuitively and automatically make certain conversions. You transpose the short language grammar, clauses, and groups into their ready target language equivalents, and you translate the lexical units into the sentence that appears immediately appropriate in the context of the sentence. Your best level when you translate is the text. This is the level of the literal translation of the search language into the target language. The level of the translationists you have to eliminate, but it also acts as a corrective of paraphrase and the paratone of synonyms. So a part of your mind may be on the text level whilst another is elsewhere. And the next, the referential level. You should not read a sentence without seeing it on the referential level. Summarily and continuously what it is about, what it is in aid of. Usually, a more specific reference is desirable in the translation. The more swelling, the deteriorations, etc. Thus, your translation is some hint of a compromise between the text and the facts. The referential level, where you mentally sort out the text, is built up of based on the clarification of all linguistic difficulties and, where appropriate, supplementary information from the encyclopedia. My symbol for any work of reference of textbooks. You build up the referential picture in your mind when you transform the search language into the target language text, and being a professional, you are responsible for the truth of this picture.
Okay, I'm Auliya Wulandari. I will continue my friend's explanation now about the cohesive level. The cohesive level follows both the structure and the modes of the text. The structure through the connective word like conjunctions, enumerations, reiterations, definite article, general words, referential synonyms, and punctuation marks. Linking the sentences, usually processing from known information to new information. Thus the structure follows of thought. It involves that there is a sequence of time, space and logic in the text. The second factor in the cohesive level is the mode again. This can be shown as a dialectical factor moving between positive and negative, emotive and neutral. This level attempts to follow through the connectives and building tone, and the emotion through value-laden or value-free expression is admittedly only tentative, but it may determine the difference between a humdrum or misleading translation and a good tone. This cohesive level is a regulator. It secures coherence. It adjusts emphasis. And the next is the level of neutralness. Normally, you can only reach this level by temporarily disengaging yourself from the source language text by reading your own translation as though no original X type. Thus, in translating any type of text, you have to sense neutralness, usually for the purpose of reproducing, sometimes for the purpose of deviating from neutralness. You have to bear in mind that the level of naturalness of natural use is grammatical as well as lexical. The most frequent syntactic structure, idioms, and words that are likely to be appropriate found in that kind of text. And through appropriate sentence connectives may extend to the entire text. Naturalness is easily defined as not just easy to be concerned about. Natural usage comprises a variety of idioms or styles or registers determined primarily by the setting of the text, where it is typically published or found, secondarily by the other topic and readership, all of whom are usually dependent of the setting natural usage, then must be distinguished from ordinary language. You have to pay special attention to word order, common structures, cognate words, the appropriateness of gerunds, infinitive, verb, noun, lexis, other emphasis areas of interference. Naturalness is not something that you wait to acquire by instinct. You work towards it by small progressive stages, working from the most common to the less common features, like anything else rationally, even if you never quite attain it. There is no universal naturalness. Naturalness depends on the relationship between the readership, and the topic or situation. What is natural in one situation may be unnatural in another, but everyone has a natural. Neutral language were spoken and informal written language more or less conscious. The next, combining the four levels. To sum up the process of translating, Newmark suggests to keep in parallel the four levels: the textual, the referential, the cohesive, the natural. They are distinct from but frequently impede on and may be in the conflict with each other. If first and last level is text, then you have to consequently bear in mind the level of reality, which may be simulated.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Right now, I want to continue my friend's paper, the topic about the unit of translating. If the translation of a sentence has no problem, it is based primarily on literal translation. The literal translation of comprehensive is understanding and oversitly plus virtually, automatic and spontaneous. Transpositions and shift has changed in the world other action. Thus, the first side of a translation problem is where this automatic procedure of language to language apparently without interactions of thought. Secondly, successfully referred to as transcoded, but the is its school of Paris are not adequate since the sentence is the base unit of thought, presenting and project, and what it does is or is affected by. So the sentence is in the first sentence unit of translation. Even though you may later find many SL and TL Congress procedure within the sentence. The translation of the lexis. The shift difficult, interesting, or lexical, non-grammatical words collections and fixed phrase or idioms. This include neologisms and amphidevic words, which is deal with especially difficulty with our word are of two kinds. The first, you do not understand them. Two, to find them hard to translate. The last, we have to bear in mind that many common nouns have found four types of meaning. Number one, physical or material. Number two, figurative. Three, technical. Four, colloquial. Okay. The next topic continue with my friend. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Farkhan Hidayat and I will continue for our presentation group. For my topic is the translation of proper. Firstly, second is revision, the third is conclusion. The translation of proper names. The translation of proper name has often been considered a simple automatic process of translation for one language and another, due to the view that proper names are nothing but mere labels used to identify a person or a thing, so they do not require to be translated as they have no meaning and do not carry sense. In principle, a translator has to find out the references of property name as of any dictionary word, even though he may not make use of his knowledge in his version. For the example, you can see Beijing is no longer Peking. Karl Marx does now communists. I will explain you with Indonesian language. Jadi untuk contohnya adalah Beijing sama dengan Peking. Jadi di sini Beijing adalah Peking, Peking adalah Beijing. Peking sendiri adalah romanisasi alternatif. Jadi bahasa pengonversian bahasa. Seperti contohnya mungkin Cina ya kan. Cina sekarang kan udah berubah menjadi Tiongkok. Tapi sama saja kan, maksudnya Cina sama dengan Tiongkok, Tiongkok sama dengan Cina. Maybe like that. Okay, next. Revision. A great translation is also a work of art in its own right. But a good translation, even of a great work, need not be so. But my last word is this: be accurate. Revision in this examination of translation as fit for the agreed purpose by comparing the source and target text and making correction where necessary. The deliverable of revision process can have different formats depending on the needs of the client. The first, deliver the revision as the final text. In this case, any mistake identified is overwritten or corrected by the revisor, and the deliverable is a translation fit for use. In this case, this original translator does not produce the final document, as the translator has author's rights over his translation and could complain for any unauthorized change to his or her creation. The client must save the revisor himself of any liability related to this. The revisor is responsible for the quality of the final translation, but cannot be mentioned as translator, only as revisor. Second is deliver the revision as a draft. In this case, the revisor highlights the mistake with track change, comment, strike, stroke, background color, text color, etc. And the draft is sent to the translator whom considers the suggestion given by the revisor, makes the change he considers appropriate, and delivers the final translation. In this case, the original translator is fully responsible for the translation. The last is conclusion. There are a great many run-of-the-mill texts that have been translated which present few challenges on you have mastered their terminology, which carries you through into a series of frankly boring and monotonous sources. They become remotely challenging only if they are poorly written, or you have to sue the readership translate for user at a different, usually lower, level of language and or knowledge of the topic. Enterprising translators have to appeal to the research department of their companies for more interesting papers, or themselves recommend important original foreign publication in their field of translation. Translation is most clearly art when a poem sensitively translated into a poem, but any depth translation of an imaginative piece of writing is artistic when it conveys the meaning through a happy balance, a resolution of some of the tension in this process.